Deep dives and blue skies. Welcome back to Talking Blue with Nick, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talking Blue, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. I'll be your host, Nick. Today you're listening to episode 42 of Talking Blue. As you can tell by my face for those on YouTube and maybe by the tone of my voice, it is pretty depressing times here at Talking Blue, and if you're a Dodger fan. The Dodgers got swept once again, back-to-back sweeps. Lost all 3 games to the Brewers, continue to play bad, just horrible games to watch. 6 straight losses, that is the first time, or that is the most losses consecutively since 2019. Back-to-back sweeps, I don't remember the last time they got swept in back-to-back series, so just sad times. So we're going to recap all the games. As always, you can get this podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on the notifications so you don't miss it when any of the new videos drop. Follow us on all social media at Talking Blue Pod. You can follow myself at Talking Blue Nick. And you can follow us on Reddit at competitive-week8715. So, like I said, you could probably tell by the tone of my voice, not happy, pretty sad games. So, let's get into all that. There's not going to be much to talk about. Bagging on the Dodgers, pretty much. We'll go into some injury stuff really quick. There's kind of a lot going on. So, we talked about Teoscar and Tommy Edman, who were dealing with some injuries. Tommy Edman did play in this series. His pinky toe has been better. Teoscar did not play. I believe he pinch hit and walked in the last game. But he will be back in the lineup on Friday. Dodgers have a day off on Thursday. He'll be back Friday, so they should have him and Tommy Edman in the lineup. Of course, Tyler Glasnow, he came back from the injured list and pitched in the 3rd game in the series, so that's good. Blake Snell will go on a rehab assignment on Friday. And then Blake Trinan will go on his first rehab assignment tonight at the time of this recording, which is July 9th. So both Blakes going on rehab assignments. Now, Michael Conforto, who went on the IL recently, he gets transferred to the 60-day IL. It was his knee that had been bothering him. And then I think it just came out that he actually had surgery to get a meniscus torn meniscus repaired. So that's not good. But the report did say he's still expected to be back. So the 60-day IL would put him around late August. I'm assuming that will just be a late September return. So that'll be the kind of thing where we'll see where the Dodgers are at, see where Michael Kopech's at, and see if he's just ready to come back right before the postseason. Kike went on the IL, left elbow inflammation. He should be activated shortly after the All-Star break. That's what the reports have said. So that's pretty much it. So kind of a lot of little injuries and then a couple of guys coming back. So there's kind of a lot going on. Let's go ahead and get into Game 1. First game that happened, it was on Monday between the Dodgers and the Brewers, of course. Yoshinobu Yamamoto takes on Freddie Peralta. We previewed it. Excited to see these 2 pitchers go up. It was not great. So quickly, this is just some personal stuff. As you guys know, those of you who have been here for a while on Talking Blue know that I broke my ankle a few months ago. It was actually like 7 weeks ago, so a little less than 2 months ago. I broke my ankle. Ever since then, obviously, I've been recovering from that. Just recently started rehab, physical therapy, put in a walking boot, stuff like that. I'll paint the picture for you how horrible my Monday was watching this Yamamoto start. So, as you guys know, those of you who watched the game, Yamamoto didn't get out of the first inning. 2/3 of an inning, 3 earned runs. There was an error in there from Mookie Betts, 5 runs scored. So I'm watching the Yamamoto start on my couch in my living room. Yamamoto gives up the 3-run homer to Andrew Vaughn. Eventually, some more runs come in. I get up to get on my little knee scooter that I have. I didn't have my walking boot on. Straight up missed the scooter, fell on my foot, full weight on my foot, just crazy pain. Was in pain for like 20 minutes, couldn't sit still. And as that was going on, more blue pits were falling in, more runs were coming in. So that's how my first inning went. So it was painful to watch Yamamoto give up runs in more ways than one. Again, there's not really much to talk about. Andrew Vaughn went deep in the first. They scored 5 runs. Later on, Christian Yelich homered. Dodgers eventually put up 1 run. Yamamoto got rocked. I know that there was an error by Mookie Betts. Some people want to kill Mookie. Mookie's been great defensively, all things considered. Had one bad throw, came back. It's just kind of one of those. The Dodgers are just in one of those spots right now where not really getting anything out of the rotation. Offense isn't doing anything, and the second that the defense slips up, it costs them immediately. So Yamamoto threw 41 pitches. Like I said, he gave up the home run. Kind of like was teetering on. It's just when things are going bad like this, it's like everything is teetering on just blowing up in any minute. I don't know if that makes sense, but like Yamamoto had 2 base runners on. Andrew Vaughn comes up, 2 strikes. Nobody had come in to score yet, so just 1 strike away, 1 pitch away from getting out of it. Hangs a curveball right over the plate, up, gets absolutely crushed. Boom, right away, 3-0, and then you're just thinking, here we go. Bad vibes immediately, on our way to losing 4th straight, all that. So, like I said, there was a Mookie Betts error mixed in, so Yamamoto, it wasn't completely bad. There was a lot of blue pits as well. Really, the one bad pitch he made was the Andrew Vaughn home run with 2 strikes. So, Yamamoto, can't be perfect. He's got a record of 8-7. So it's kind of a weird. He's pitched so good this year. He's got an ERA of 2.77. One of the better pitchers in the game. At this point, his Cy Young chances are pretty much done. It's been an incredible first half for him, especially in his second year in the big leagues. And it's actually not done because he will pitch again on Sunday, so he'll have one more start before the first half is done. Obviously, he was an all-star, picked to the all-star team, so you can't ask enough of Yamamoto. He's been great, but this was reminiscent of his major league debut in Korea. So, Dodgers didn't do anything. They had 7 hits, but another story was leaving runners on base. So, but when you go out there and give up 5 runs in the first inning after losing 3 straight, the vibes are immediately crushed and you're kind of panicking. So we go to game 2, Clayton Kershaw versus Jacob Misiorowski. Of course, Misiorowski, talked about him. Bunch of hype coming into him and coming into the series about him. Super electric, and he proved it in this game. Now, Shohei did start the game off with a home run, so that was pretty sick. I actually tweeted out, jokingly, I hope people understood the sarcasm, where were you when Shohei saved the season? Right away, Shohei got down 0-2, leaves a hanging curveball right down the middle. Shohei obliterated it to center field, his 31st of the year. So feeling good out of the gate, maybe thinking Dodgers are going to do something about Misiorowski. Against Misiorowski, it was anything but that. So, again, not really much to talk about inning through inning, but Misiorowski, he got through 6 innings after that home run, allowed 1 home run on the homer, allowed 4 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts. I believe the Dodgers had 21 swings and misses in the times that Misiorowski was out there. So just absolutely dominated. I don't want to kill the Dodgers too much. He's absolutely electric. He's actually like Tyler Glasnow with even more velocity and even crazier stuff. One of the harder things about taller pitchers is obviously the extension. It's like they're handing the ball to the catcher, and it just makes it seem quicker to the plate. You have to react so much quicker. It's like the pitcher's on top of you, and that's what has always been said about Glasnow, who has electric stuff. Misiorowski has even more electric stuff. Glasnow, when he's at his best, is sitting anywhere from 95 to 98, pretty much topping 98, 99. Misiorowski is literally sitting 100 miles an hour, basically. There was like no fastballs under 97, it seemed. So he's just electric. So it's hard to criticize the Dodgers so much when a guy is like throwing 101 upstairs like that, and he had command. What are you gonna do? I have said that he does allow walks. Of course, he allows just 1 walk. So the command it was like watching Jacob deGrom at his best. Like just throw 101 by you whenever he wanted. Whenever he mixes in any kind of wrinkle, changeup, curveball, you're not gonna hit it. Kershaw went 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. Early on, like I said, when Ohtani took Mizorowski deep, Kershaw threw up a couple scoreless innings. It looked like maybe the Dodgers could somehow win like a low-scoring game. Brewers eventually put 2 up in the fourth inning to take a 2-1 lead. Brought in one more run. I think it was a Sal Frelick home run in the eighth. Brewers have such an electric bullpen. Abner Uribe throwing like 100-mile-an-hour sinkers. Again, is it Trevor McGill? I think it's, yeah, Trevor McGill throwing 100. Mizorowski, again, when you have someone out there 6'7", 6'8", the best extension in the game, probably the best velocity and stuff for a starting pitcher in the game, and he's pounding the strike zone. What are you going to do? Again, you would have liked to see more fight from the Dodgers and more just better at bats. He had 12 strikeouts through like 5 innings. Definitely would have liked to see just a little bit more contact, make it a little bit more difficult. But again, it's easy to sit here and criticize them for not hitting 101 at the top of the zone. You try to go and do that. So, but again, doesn't help feel any better, anything like that. Dodgers are still capable of obviously of winning. So we go to Game 3. Probably the only thing to talk about from this series positively. Tyler Glasnow gets the start. He goes up against Jose Quintana. I talked about it. I was confident the Dodgers could hit Jose Quintana. I was also confident it would be tough for the Dodgers to hit Peralta and Mizorowski, which became true. Jose Quintana had the Dodgers scoreless until the fifth. Bases loaded walk. Brings in Shohei Ohtani. No, Shohei Ohtani walked. Miguel Rojas scores. Dodgers go up 1-0. Later on in the fifth, Tyler Glasnow was still out there. Runner on second. Jake Bauers steals third. Throw goes into left field. Throwing error on Will Smith. The run comes in to score. So just can't get any worse than that. Brewers tie up the game. Brewers are just such a scrappy team who find multiple ways to score runs. Later on, Dodgers would take the lead in the seventh inning. Mookie Betts hit a sac fly. Put the Dodgers up 2-1. Then, of course, in the ninth inning, Tanner Scott comes in for the save. Like I said, it is a 2-1 ball game. A lot of more weak contact. Andrew Vaughn brought in the tying run on a broken bat blooper into center. Dodgers would manage to get out of the inning. It's kind of funny. Tanner Scott immediately, I tweeted, locked in after that. Started to get his fastball up in the zone, get some swings and misses, and then, but it was too late because he allowed the tying run to score. So, fast forward to the 10th. Brewers bring in their closer, McGill. Strikes out the side. Just horrible at-bats. Freddie Freeman blown away by fastballs. Pages swing and a miss. And then Tommy Edman struck out at the top of the zone. So just horrible. I couldn't even get the runner to third base. Just awful at-bats. So, of course, at this point, the Dodgers are going to lose. They bring in Kirby Yates. He actually, I think, got one out, fly out to center, but then Jackson Churchill walks it off to left field. Brewers sweep the Dodgers. Dodgers suffer their second consecutive sweep. So quickly, we'll talk about Glasnow, and then we'll just kind of talk about sum up all the bad in the series and just move on. So we'll talk about Glasnow. Like I said, he went 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run scored, but it was 0 earned, so no earned runs allowed. 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He had 9 whiffs in the game, 9 swings and misses. He threw 85 pitches. Nice that he threw 85 pitches. I believe his last rehab outing he threw 76. So he goes over 76 to get him a little bit more stretched out, but nothing crazy. Didn't throw 90-something pitches, 100-something pitches. So pretty good spot for him physically. And then I would imagine his next start would be the first game the Dodgers play coming out of the break. Dodgers play 3 more games down in San Francisco, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then, obviously, you have the Home Run Derby Monday, All-Star Game Tuesday, and then it's usually Wednesday, Thursday off, and then Friday is when the second half starts. I forget who the Dodgers play to start the second half. So I would imagine Glasnow would get that start on Friday, so he'll have a full 8 or 9 days off, something like that. So he'll be nice and rested. So what was really nice about Glasnow in this game is his velocity. So Glass now, obviously, his last game was April 27th against the Pirates. So it's been well over 2 months since we've seen him. I wonder if he was dealing with any injuries or just something was brewing because his velocity on the year prior to this game was 95.2, which is down for Glass now. Now he is one of those pitchers. I've talked about this before, and I've heard him say in interviews how he's kind of learned to not really try to go for velo throughout the whole game or like early in the count. So you occasionally will see Glass now 94, 95, and then maybe on a strikeout pitch or something like that up to 96, 97, 98. But still, at the end of the day, he was averaging 95.2. So in this game against the Brewers, he was averaging 96.8. So it was up a full mile and a half. He actually maxed out at 99.5. So I'm assuming on TV that's 100. I didn't get to watch a lot of this game. I actually had a doctor's appointment, so I didn't get to see most of Glass now pitch. I was watching some on my phone while I was in the car and stuff like that. But from all things that I've seen, I know it was the second inning, I think, where he had some traffic, but he was able to punch his way out of it. Slider was looking good. He actually finished pretty strong. As Glasnow tends to do, he will kind of lose his command at times, but then he'll kind of lock that back in. And then when he's got the slider working, whether it's in the strike zone or just out of the strike zone to get some chases and stuff like that, he's going to look pretty nasty. So all in all, the one positive from the series is Glass now comes back into the rotation. He looked good. Velo was up. Command was pretty solid. Swing and miss was solid. Now it's just how is he going to feel and stuff like that. How does he bounce back? How does he look in his next start? It'll be interesting to see what the Dodgers do. Like I said, he'll have some time off if he is the first pitcher. Even if he's the first pitcher to pitch coming out of the break, he will have some time off. So Dodgers probably would have preferred to have him pitch like during the weekend so he doesn't have too much time off. You don't want to have so much time off in between breaks. But I guess at the end of the day, Glasnow's had so many injuries, so much stuff this season that any little bit of extra rest is fine. So, but the positive thing is that his fastball velocity was up, kind of up to where it normally is. I believe 96.8 is pretty much where he was at last year. And Tyler Glasnow last year, up until he got injured in mid-late August, was having a phenomenal year, was the Dodgers' best pitcher. Again, he doesn't exactly throw as hard as he did in Tampa where he would like sit 98 or 90. I don't know how hard, but he still regularly gets the fastball up there, which is good. So by all accounts, he seems healthy. It's a big ad for the Dodgers. I mean, I've talked about it before, but the Dodgers have Glasnow pitch today. They're going to have Dustin May pitch Friday, Ohtani pitch Saturday, and then Yamamoto pitch again Sunday. So, again, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Shohei, Kershaw, all in one rotation. Dustin May has looked a little bit better. Stuff like that. Makes you feel pretty good about the Dodgers rotation going forward with Blake Snell looking to pretty surely return. That's pretty much it. So, to sum up the series, Dodgers go 1 for 19 with runners in scoring position in this series. The offense just continued to go cold. I believe they scored, someone said, or I think I saw 5 runs in their last 42 innings. That's atrocious. They're having the Yankees recently were on a really bad slump where they were just not scoring any runs, losing a million games. This is what the Dodgers are doing right now, just not scoring any, just doing nothing well, basically. Couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. Guys who have been struggling, we've talked about Freddie and Mookie. They've kind of been the focal point. Have recently had looked better, specifically Freddie last week against the White Sox, and then Mookie against the Astros. Neither of those guys showed up in this series. Freddie continues to swing and miss a little bit more. He's getting blown away by fastballs. Just continues to look lost. You can see it on his face a lot of times when he fouls a pitch off, swings and misses. You could just see he is looking at himself like, what is that? Why am I swinging and missing? Mookie, more soft contact pop-ups and stuff like that. But again, nobody did anything the entire series. The Dodgers scored 1 run in each game, so nobody showed up. Nobody did anything. No Andy Paez, no Will Smith. It was the Shohei home run, and that was basically it. So, like I said, it's the most consecutive losses since 2019. I don't know if that means they've lost since 2019 consecutively, so they've tied that same number, or it is just the most. I think they lost 5 last year, and then that was they didn't lose more than 5. So things are bad right now. Dodgers aren't hitting. Like I said, guys like Mookie and Freddie have continued to kind of just not heat up like you would like. And then obviously they lose Max Muncy, and the guys have been nicked up. So the Dodgers are. I put this out on Twitter and on Reddit. They're having a very similar season to what they had last year. So you could take a positive out of that. The Dodgers won 97 games last year and won the World Series. So there are positives, okay? But they are having back-to-back very similar seasons. I put it out as well. In 2024, 55 and 39, 2025, 56 and 38. So one more win, one less loss through 94 games. So they're having very. I put out. There's a lot of reasons: starting pitching injuries, other injuries, you know, all that stuff. It's very similar. Last year, going into Detroit, I think it was they got swept by the Tigers, lost 5 straight to go into the All-Star break. So they're just once again they're stumbling going into the break after just playing very well the last 3 weeks or so. You know, pretty much all of June they played very well. They are once again stumbling going to the break, just desperately need that All-Star break. You know, it's kind of, it's bad, like, as a fan, when, like, the last probably 2 games, really since the first loss in Milwaukee, I've kind of just graduated from, like, I'm not expecting a Dodger win or looking to a Dodger win. I'm just looking to get to the All-Star break. Like, just get to the All-Star break. Get this, baseball's such a weird sport, but you can kind of just mentally, put a lot of things behind you. Hey, that was the first half. The first half, the second half is going to be different. I mean, how many times in baseball history do you hear about a team who has the best record in the second half of the year? The Tigers were that last year. So there's kind of just weird things with baseball that you can just mentally wash things. It's a new season kind of feel. So the Dodgers just need to get to a break. The All-Star break, some guys rested, like Teoscar, Tommy Edman. Some of these guys were like banged up. And some guys like Mookie and Freddie can just go and take a maybe rest, work on mechanics, whatever, get ready to play in the second half. The Dodgers just need that desperately. You can just tell when they are just in none of these games, and then the games they are just somehow they are in the game, they end up losing the game. I know I haven't talked about Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates. They've kind of not have been as good as you'd like. I still believe in Tanner Scott, and I believe in Kirby Yates. But they have some stuff to figure out with their command. Tanner Scott is actually just he's a guy who throws fastballs to the top of the zone and mixes in a slider. For some reason, at times he just can't get the fastball up, and with that arm slider that he has, that he kind of has like an upshoot arm slot. It's perfect when you're getting the ball up. When you're not getting the ball up, you're just throwing balls down the middle. Guys are going to bloop in those hits and make contact. So Tanner Scott continues to kind of struggle, but ultimately his numbers don't look too bad. So there's a lot going on. We got one more series. I just hopefully somehow the Dodgers can just win the series and in San Francisco, win a game, do something. Someone's just got to change something, spark something. You thought that Shohei's homer would have been a spark against Mizorowski. That didn't do it. You thought maybe Glasnow could have sparked something. Nope. So you just got to do something different in San Francisco. I think they're going to take on Logan Webb. They historically see Logan, decently. Like Mookie Betts, we know, kind of owns him. Got to do something different. Like someone's got to spark something. Someone's got to step up. Got to like put up a 3 spot in the first. I don't know, win a close games. Dustin May go out there and just shove. Someone's got to do something, end the first half on a high note, and then go into the second half hot. Last year, the Dodgers struggled going into the All-Star break, came out of it, won 5 in a row. So, and they were really good down the stretch in the second half, especially in August. They played really well when guys came back. So, got to get through these next 3 games somehow. Just figure out a way to win 2 games. Just win 2 of the next 3. Go into the All-Star break. Get guys rested, and we'll come out a little bit healthier probably. Some guys will start to come back. We'll go to the the trade deadline, see what happens. So I'm still believing the Dodgers. They still have the best record in the National League, kind of by a couple wins. and second best record in baseball, I believe. They're a very good team. They're going to win upwards of a plus 95 plus games, and if they get hot in the second half, they'll win over 100 games. If they can get healthy, they're going to play well. So you just, some guys offensively have to step up. Mookie's just got to be better. That's it. Freddie Freeman, you got to just be better. Catch up to some heaters. You know, Pa has his slow down a little bit. We need you to wake it up a little bit. Tommy Edman, Teoscar, I know you guys are banged up. You got to put together some better at-bats. So, the Dodgers are going to be all right ultimately, but it's just a tough watch right now. It's a tough watch. So, that's going to wrap up, guys. I can't bag on the Dodgers anymore. I think they'll be okay, but we'll get through this together, guys. So just win 2 out of 3 in San Fran. Change up the vibes. Do something, man. Do something on the plane to San Francisco. So, enjoy your off day, everyone, tomorrow on Thursday. Don't think about the Dodgers. Alright? Just relax. I'm not going to think about the Dodgers. So, as always, guys, thank you for listening. You can get this podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow myself at Talking Blue Nick. You can follow us at Talking Blue Pod on all social media. And follow us on Reddit at Competitor-Week8715. Thank you guys for listening. We will get through this together. On to San Francisco we go.